Hello everyone, Namaskar. This is my book, The Many Dialogues of the Sri Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. I wrote it, it was published in April of 2021, and the publishers were Kiriti Sengupta and Bitan Chakraborty of Hawakal. I've never read from my book. I've never done a podcast. So many people have asked me to do it, but I never have. There is one Swami who took the initiative and did it right at the beginning. He was my batchmate at Presidency College way back between 1979 and 1982, and that is Ananda Maharaj or Swami Tyagarupananda. So since it is Dol Purnima soon and technically supposed to be Sri Chaitanya's birthday or birth anniversary according to Tithi, I'd just like to read a little bit of what I've thought about the presence of Sri Chaitanya in the Ramakrishna Kathamrita. So the name of the chapter is Sri Chaitanya as Affect and Epistemology in the Ramakrishna Kathamrita. I've been told that my book is very difficult, but I am an academic, and this is the only way I could have written it. And the central premise of the book is to discern the dialogic method of the Russian narrative critic Bakhtin, that a novel, for instance, enacts many kinds of dialogues, and not just dialogues as in the language of Bankura or Medinipur or Joynagar. It is the dialogue of discourses, the dialogue of epistemologies. And I found a great deal of that in the Kathamrita while thinking about it, between empiricism and faith, empiricism and intuition, Shakta Vaishnava, Brahmoism, even Christianity, Islam, and myth and history. Hence, it seemed like a very rich dialogic universe to me, and I thought I would write about it. And very briefly, the chapters in my book are The Many Dialogues of the Ramakrishna Kathamrita, which is the introduction. And then I have Symphonies of Dance, Song, and Epistemology in the Sri Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, Sri Chaitanya as Affect and Epistemology in the Ramakrishna Kathamrita, Sri Ramakrishna as Poet and Philosopher, Redeemer and Redeemed, Girish Chandra Ghosh and Sri Ramakrishna, Science in Dialogue with Bhava or Ecstasy, Dr. Mohendralal Sarkar and Sri Ramakrishna. It is one of my theses that Sri Ramakrishna won over people, even those who were initially skeptical towards him, through his very charming and magnetic personality and many splendored personality, and also through his capacity to draw love. Like, I was most struck when I was struck by that incident when Mohendralal Sarkar comes to Dakshineshwar during those last days of Thakur's life and says, "Kal 3টে থেকে জেগে আছি, ভাবছিলাম দরজা তোমার ঘরের দরজা খোলা কিনা, দরজা খোলা থাকলে হিম আসবে, তোমার ঠান্ডা লেগে যাবে." This is the language of love. This is how we talk to those we love. So just a little bit from my book. In the richly layered and plural text that the Kathamrita is, Sri Chaitanya is one of the most referred to figures, at once an historical example, through whom Sri Ramakrishna grounds the states of bhava and mahabhava, yet also mythical in participating and extending the divine eros of Radha or Srimati herself. Even if it is possible to establish Radha as a historical personality, it is for her quality of affect, her absolute and complete self-forgetfulness in her love for Krishna, that she functions as myth and archetype in the Indian mind, setting absolute standards for love, both quotidian and spiritual. She becomes the pivot or the fulcrum through whom generations of poets and singers have explored the limits of self-transcendence offered by love as an integral response to life. Sri Chaitanya becomes a participant in Radha's affective continuum by embodying in himself her consummate love for Krishna, and of being able to lose the world in a state of perfect divine eros that Sri Ramakrishna describes in the following manner. This is about Sri Chaitanya. Bon dekhe Brindaban bhabe, Samudra dekhe Sri Jamuna, which translates into, quote, he sees the forest and thinks it is Vrindavan, and when he sees the sea, he thinks that it is the Yamuna. However, to the reader of the Kathamrita, Sri Ramakrishna, who often remained immersed in a state of samadhi, who was transported to intense bhav during kirtan singing, and who pined for his devotees with great longing, inhabits the same affective continuum as Radha and Sri Chaitanya. Mahendranath Gupta RM describes Sri Ramakrishna as Nishidin Hori Preme Mar Preme Matwara, which translates into, quote, constantly intoxicated with the love of Hari and Krishna, end quote. One recollects again how Gangabai, the famous woman saint of Benares, identified Sri Ramakrishna as Dulali or Radha. Thus, in the Kathamrita, Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Chaitanya and Radha seem parallel and continuous, linked through a web of correspondences, images, musical metaphors, and Sri Ramakrishna's passionate inhabitation of the kind of madhura that they exemplified. Madhura is the bhava with which Radha worshipped Krishna. On 21st September 1884, Sri Ramakrishna refers to Radha's premunmad, or state of being mad with love for Krishna. He also refers to how Radha tells the gopis that she sees Krishna everywhere because she has lined her eyes with a coal that is filled with love, anurag anjan, for Krishna. If Radha is the principle of endless love of God, then Sri Chaitanya, who worshipped in the Radha mode, is similarly full of love or prem, and thereby a yogi in the madhura rasa. Sri Ramakrishna, who is preme matwara, exists in continuum with them. Through a process of constant recall and remembrance, through Vaishnav Tattva and song, Radha and Chaitanya gather and focus the meaning of the Ramakrishna Kathamrita, both in terms of art and epistemology. On the occasion of the Panihati festival on 18th June 1883, M describes Sri Ramakrishna as dancing in front of the Radha Krishna temple. His state is referred to as Gorgor Matwara, or drunk with ecstasy. Sometimes he is described as passing into a state of samadhi. The Sri Chaitanya and Sri Ramakrishna tie that the text highlights, which leads to the mutuality of Radha or Chaitanya or Ramakrishna, to the intensifying of the madhura bhava in the text, is brought out by narratorial comments like the following, where M says, quote, "The many people assembled at the Panihati festival were thinking that Sri Gaurango must have manifested himself inside this Mahapurush. Indeed, some were thinking that he was Sri Gaurango incarnate." On that occasion, Sri Ramakrishna talks to Navadip Goswami and says, Gaurango had Mahabhava and prem. That is why he jumped into the blue ocean thinking that it was the Yamuna. He then adds, Jeeb does not have Mahabhav or prem. They stay with Bhav only. Okay, I would like to refer to just another incident, which is that of 3rd July 1884, which enacts a magical coalescence of song and dance of Kali and Krishna together. As Sri Ramakrishna dances at the Rathojatra in front of Balaram Bose's house, M describes Sri Ramakrishna as being full of the bhava of Sri Chaitanya. M further states that it was like Gaur who was dancing full of Hari Prem at Sribash's courtyard. Sribash was one of the followers of Sri Chaitanya. Amar Gaur keno kedelo he norohori. Amar Gaur kene kedelo. In this song, there is reference to Sribash's courtyard. M further states that Balaram Bose's house became like Navadip from inside and Brindaban inside. And the song in this context is Amar Gaur nache Sribash Angone Bhakta Sange. These references widen and broaden the historical and mythical implications of this invaluable text. M concludes that Sri Ramakrishna's room at Dakshineshwar was like Sribash's courtyard. The educated and erudite references of the narrator of the Kathamrita helps to set up mythical as well as historical parallels and correspondence to Sri Ramakrishna's Leela at Dakshineshwar. Thank you.